What to grow in January? Are you bombarded and, let's face it, a little bit baffled with all of the online what to sow in January lists and videos? Well, this is my antidote, my list of just 5 great plants to have in your garden that will give you colour, scent and interest, but also some really tasty and easy to grow food. Some that you can start from seed, some things that you can go out and buy, and all you have to do is grow and enjoy. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back. It's a new year, and I bet that if you're like me, you're dreaming of all of the great gardening to come, and also really wanting to get some things planted and some things sown. But yes, let's face facts. It might be bright today, but it's still the middle of the winter. But truly, that doesn't actually have to stop you from starting even just a few seeds or treating yourself to some real star performer plants. So today, here are my 5 recommendations of brilliant things that even though it's winter, even though light levels are a little bit low and it's cold, you can get started now, or you can plant now, or that are going to give you joy now. So let's get stuck in. Okay, let's kick off this month with what I think is a quirky and interesting thing to get growing. When it comes to starting plants from seed, worse than the cold and wet of winter is actually just the lack of daylight hours. But since they need a long growing season, one group of seeds that you need to get started as early as possible are peppers and chilies. But I'm going to suggest a different pepper from the norm. Padrons. Padron peppers are a variety of small green peppers that originate in Spain, or at least they're eaten in Spain. Rather than growing them to use like a regular chili pepper where you would add little bits into food to add spice, padrons are served as a tapas dish, usually fried or griddled in olive oil until the skin starts to blister, and then you sprinkle them with coarse salt and you eat loads of them. They are super tasty. Imagine the actual flavour of chili peppers, but mild, so that you could just bite into them and enjoy them. Well, not only do they taste good, they've got the fun factor. They're almost all mild in terms of heat, but traditionally it's said that about 1 in 10 peppers is going to be spicy. So occasionally you'll bite into one and you'll come across a really hot one, but you never know which one it's going to be and when you might get it. If you sow the seeds now, make sure to give them some heat to get them germinating, and once they have, lots of light. So that's going to have to be a nice warm bright windowsill or under a grow light, because then you're going to have to give them TLC for the next couple of months so that they form nice, strong baby plants. Keep them potted on and then move them out into a nice, warm, bright place. So again, that's going to have to be a really sunny windowsill, or ideally a greenhouse, polytunnel or a covered growing space. These crop really well once you start them growing. So grow a few plants, have lots of padrons, enjoy them later in the summer, and I hope you enjoy trying to avoid getting a really spicy one. I love this really low winter light on a clear day. For me, the joy of gardening is about growing something of everything that makes you happy, not necessarily just one thing. And because of that, my next recommendation is going to be a shrub. Yes, a shrub. Now, do not reel back and turn off this episode, because shrubs aren't boring. They can actually be really pretty special. And this certainly is. This is a sarcococca. It may also be known commonly as sweet box or Christmas box. And on first glance, this little evergreen, it's actually quite plain. It's got little small green glossy leaves, but this has a secret: scent. Right now, in midwinter, all of these tiny little buds that you can see along the undersides of the stems, they open into tiny, actually quite inconspicuous little flowers. They're usually white, but some you can get have a reddish pink flush to them. The flowers are, well, titchy, but my word, do they smell incredible. They have this really sweet jasmine-like fragrance that just carries on the air. If you go out into the garden on a calm, mild day like today, you'll catch the scent of this sarcococca, and it really does add proper magic to your garden. And it asks for very little in return. These are actually quite slow growing. They stay relatively compact and they're going to tolerate pretty much all soils and conditions, even shade, and they're hardy. Oh, and they're affordable as well. So treat yourself to one and bring in some of that really magic scent into your own garden. Quick one, I hope you're finding this video helpful, and if you are, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'd be surprised quite how much it helps me and my channel. It helps me grow and it means that I can bring you more awesome gardening content. So thank you so much for your support. Now, back to what to grow. On to a really easy to grow edible that I find super rewarding. And it's onions. But rather than planting onion sets, I'm talking about sowing onion seeds. In fact, the tradition is to sow your onion seeds the day after Christmas, Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day. Growing onions from seed has several really big benefits. The first might be obvious: cost. Onion sets, when you buy them in bags, they certainly aren't that expensive, but when it comes to seeds, you get way more seeds in a packet, and it makes it even more affordable again. Best of all though, other than the cost, is the sheer choice and variety that you can get your hands on. Whether it's heirloom onions, unusual varieties, different colours, different sizes, varieties that are going to be particularly suited to your local growing conditions, there really is just so much choice. Growing onions from seed can be, well, a little bit more time consuming, and they do require a slightly longer growing season than if you use sets, but they are great if you want to scratch that New Year seed sowing itch. So go to the garden centre, have a look online and pick yourself out some really interesting onion varieties to try sowing from seed. This is so exciting because the next plant that I'm going to recommend is one that I've just bought for myself and I have wanted for years. That's why it's still in a pot. I always talk about buying what I would call investment pieces for the garden, a plant that's going to be a bit more pricey than you would normally spend, but it's easily going to make you happy for years to come. So, for January, let me introduce you to Daphne Jacqueline Postil. This is a plant which, at this stage, pretty much has legendary status for its scent. Around now, in late winter, and I can just see it starting to form, you get these clusters of small pink flowers that when they open, and really these are mainly still in bud, they give a lovely subtle flush of pink colour to the garden, but they have this unreal scent, strong enough to fill an entire small garden. And in the dark, cold winter days, anything that encourages us out into the garden is a good thing. And that's why I think that it's worth having in your garden. It's relatively slow growing, so it's not going to take over. It'll ultimately get to about 5 foot tall by about 5 foot wide if left unpruned. The leaves are evergreen, so it's valuable for just adding an element of structure into your garden. Now, it is hardy, but it is a bit of a delicate princess at the same time. So this is going to prefer a sheltered spot, and it might need a bit of extra protection when you have really extremely cold, snowy, or very harsh windy days. But that extra bit of care is going to reward you with a late winter, early spring show of gorgeous little pink flowers and the most heavenly scent. This is definitely one plant to have. It wouldn't be January, would it, without talking about getting some sweet pea seeds sown. And there is a very good reason why sweet peas are just so ubiquitous. It's because they're brilliant. I'm never organised enough to get mine sown earlier back in the autumn, but at the same time, I really want to get the benefit of getting the plants started nice and early compared to starting them later in the spring. So I have nice strong plants to get planted out as soon as I can. They're easy to grow, they're adaptable to almost any garden situation, and they make a really great choice if you want colour, scent and flowers that you can pick week after week to bring into the house. I had a bed behind me that was just fantastic. From early summer and throughout the summer, sweet pea are going to give you pretty, soft, lovely cottage garden worthy flowers in pretty much every shade, from white through pinks, reds, blues, mauves, all the way through to dark purples. There are endless varieties to choose from, so have a look and pick something that suits your taste. For me, My two specific recommendations, if I wanted to be really specific, are a blend called Misty Mountains, which is a lovely cool shaded mix of whites, blues and purples, or the classic Kupani. It's got that bicolour flower of raspberry pink and dark purple. To grow them, I soak the seeds for a few hours just before I sow them, just to get them going. Then I sow them into pots or nice deep root trainers. I keep the pots indoors to get the seedlings started and germinating. Then, once they've germinated, I bring them out to somewhere that's really bright but unheated, like a cold conservatory or an unheated greenhouse. This is going to slow down their growth, and I keep them pinched out so that they form really hardy, tough, bushy plants. Then I plant them out in mid-spring and enjoy for the rest of the summer. It might be winter, but get thinking, get planning, and most of all, get out and enjoy some gardening, even if it's only a little bit. If you're in the mood though for some more great garden inspiration, keep on going. Check out these videos because I think you're going to love them. And until next time, see you later.